Yo, what's up guys? It's Mike, and in this video, we're gonna be talking about something very interesting. How to build your body for more sex. With me, my boy, John Barban. He specializes in teaching guys how to build their body to be more attractive to women. So, and he does it through something called the Adonis Golden Ratio. Now, kick us off, man. What is that actually?
Okay, so the Adonis Golden Ratio is the shape of the male body. So it's the right waist for your height. So it's calibrated to your height, and then it's the ratio of your waist to your shoulders. And when I say ratio, I mean the circumference. So whatever his waist measurement is, if we measure it around the tape, compared to his shoulder measurement. Now, you're a good example because we've measured you just earlier before we were on camera, and you do have the Adonis Golden Ratio. So Mike's look, this is like the look. So when we all start working out, we think to ourselves, I want to get in shape. People say that, right? I want to get, what shape? What is that shape? In your mind, you kind of have an idea of what looks good. And most guys, I would think, are thinking something like what you look like. Yeah. But they didn't know that they were keyed on this golden ratio. And the golden ratio is actually a form that the human eye has been trained to see as like really pleasing, like aesthetically good looking. We know that from art history research and anatomy research. And so when I started doing this research on what the right look was, it turned out to be the golden ratio applied to the man's body. Yeah. And now guys get caught up when they work out thinking they need to be bigger and bigger and bigger, but that's not it. You don't want it. The goal isn't to be bigger, the goal is to be better. And at some point you do arrive at the look. Yeah. And this ratio is how you know. So instead of getting on the scale and thinking it's 5 more pounds, it's 10 more pounds, it's actually how much closer am I to this ratio. And the ratio itself is 1 to 1.6. And so that means your shoulders should be 1.6 times bigger than your waist as a measurement around. Yeah. And then your waist is just under 45% of your height. And it's all just a mathematical equation. Nice. And I'm not just making this stuff up because we've done research and it shows women from all cultures, not just North American women, but from all different cultures, always choose a male figure that's at 1 to 1.6.
What John really is telling you guys is more of the specifics of exactly where you need to be at versus just kind of having like this imaginary look, because I had that in my mind forever. And just like where you talk about getting bigger, not better, well, before I kept thinking this the way I'm looking now, but in my mind I kept thinking, all right, I need to get bigger, and even though my ideal look is where I'm at, I never knew how to achieve it because I never had a very specific direction. It just kept getting bigger and stronger. I just kept working on lifts versus on shaping my body.
At some point, it's not bigger isn't any better. You have to hit that ratio. And the interesting thing is that golden ratio is something that all human eyes recognize. Yeah. So not only will women be attracted to this look, other men will be very envious of it. Yeah. So you kind of display a dominant alpha male kind of vibe when you walk into a room.
Really what the whole topic of this video is about, more sex. Yes, you can be healthy, yes, you can play better at sports, but somewhere along the line, you're gonna want to attract more women, and only for one damn reason, to go ahead and get laid more. And correct me if I'm wrong, John, but there's also a ratio for women, right?
Yeah, there is. And it actually is golden for women as well. Now, we take the waist measurement for guys, we take the waist measurement right kind of at your belly button. Yeah. But for women's waists, their thinnest point is a little bit higher up under their rib. So we just call that the Venus ratio. Yeah. And there's one extra ratio for a woman's body. It's their shoulders, just like the guys. Yep. And it's their waist at its narrowest point, but then it's at their hips. Yeah. So there's an extra, so it's the classic hourglass shape. Yeah. And women can build into that shape too. And just like how women are attracted to the golden ratio on the man's body, men are exactly attracted to the exact same ratio.
I'm not gonna lie, if I see two girls, and check this out, so I want to show you examples. This way you can really relate what I'm saying. So if you check out on the screen, I don't know where it's gonna be, ding, somewhere. Look at those two pictures. Right? You see one woman, now both girls are, they're okay, but if you look at both pictures, you see one has more of like a boxy looking shape and one has all the nice curves. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, nicer curves, and pretty much to everybody I know, and back me up on this one, same thing like you said, the Venus ratio, the curves will always attract more guys. And why are you more attracted to the girl with bigger tits and ass and the ratio? Well, I say tits, it's actually the ratio, but that's the only thing I'm seeing. Because it looks more attractive, right? Because somewhere along the line back in the days we were like programmed to be attracted to this stuff, and so nowadays, just like how girls are more attracted to guys with the Adonis Golden Ratio, right? The 1 to 1.6, same thing with guys. You're attracted to the girl with the hourly glass. You don't know why, you just know you like it better. And that's like the easiest way to, in my mind, to really explain the difference.
That ratio seems to work in both directions, and everyone is drawn to it.
Yeah.
And even plastic surgeons use it to, like, let's say someone gets into a car accident and they suffer some facial trauma. Plastic surgeons use the golden ratio to reset where your eyes are, and your nose, and your mouth, on your face. It's all, and then dentists use it to reset your teeth.
Yeah.
So that ratio, it's called the golden mask. They actually use it to map the face to make sure.
So there's a ratio for your face too.
There's ratios for your face too. There's even there's even ratios for your hand to your forearm, to the full length of your arm. Because have you ever seen someone where you're like, I think their arms are too short, but shorter than what?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Or if their legs aren't long enough. All of that is related to the golden ratio. So and we've done all this research, and I was surprised when I found it. But that's how you know when everything's sort of just right. Everything lines up with the golden ratio. Guys will study and research how to talk to women. Guys who are really shy around women, they're going to try to figure it out. I mean, you can buy programs about it and stuff like that. Yeah. But one of the other things you can do is get your body into a shape where it does a lot of the work for you, and this is the shape. I mean, it kind of sounds technical, we have research on it, but it really is. And it's going to give you that halo effect where you get the benefit of the doubt and half the work's done for you. And why wouldn't you put that effort in to having the first impression?
It's like walking in a room, and a normal guy walks in a room. I know when I was single, I walk into a room, it's like, all right, first thing I'm looking for the hot chicks in the room. And then once I locate them, I'm like, all right, now let me see how I can go talk to them, whose guys are around, are they with the girlfriends, and then afterwards you gotta pop up, you try to go get their attention, you do all this work. Well, if you have the Adonis Golden Ratio and you have this ideal look, then number one, when you walk into a room, the women are gonna see you, just like when you see a hot ass chick walk into a room, you know, everybody's like, damn, you know everybody is talking about that chick, you know? Maybe girl with nice tits and ass, just, you know, I mean, a face could be okay, it doesn't even matter, you just see it, you're like, you see that one? You're like,
in this case, you know, tables are turning. You're the hot chick.
Yeah. You're like, that's funny as sound,
right?
Yeah, but it's true. You know, and imagine that. It's like, man, now the girls all notice you. So doesn't mean they're just gonna all flock to your arm. And, you know, I mean, if they do, cool. But you know that they are attracted to you, and you have brownie points already. Mm-hmm. So now you just don't screw up. You know, now when you go and talk to them, suddenly they're like very interested, they're inviting, like, oh, how you doing, blah, blah. They may act like they didn't see you. They saw you, you know what I mean? They saw you. And
we've done survey research. They have the exact same reaction to us like as we do to them. When you walk in with this shape, half the work's done for you.
So then it's a lot easier at the end to take them home and have more sex, which is the main goal in this video. I mean, let's not bullshit, you know, it is what it is.
That's what we called it, so. And in the end, isn't that why, at least to some degree, isn't that why we all started working out in the first place?
Yep, I could say I
actually think shape and the look you get, and then the social power it gives you, that's the number one priority, and then health and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
That's a nice second thing. That's like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But it's what your body can do for you socially is why everyone works out.
On the side note, not only will you get laid a lot more by women, but you're gonna gain a lot of respect from guys. Because imagine when you see somebody who's like, let's say you see somebody, we'll give some extreme examples just for this example's sake. Let's say you see somebody that's a little bit overweight. Not fat, they're just overweight, they don't work out. Automatically, you know, you may think, all right, this person's probably not very hardworking. He may or may not be very successful because he doesn't seem to have the drive to take care of his body. He just automatically seems a little more, like, not dirty. I'm not saying dirty, but what's like the word to where they just kind of don't take care of themselves very well versus...
Unkempt.
Yeah, there you go. You know, versus the other way around, somebody who's in shape, automatically think, whoa, but this person has good work ethics, you know, he looks like he really takes care of his body, so he must be just better. I'm trying to think of the right word.
He's going to get the benefit of the doubt. Even whether or not he deserves it, and whether or not that's fair, that's not the point.
It's not fair.
It's human nature, and it's going to happen. So why not stack the deck in your favor?
All right, so John, what's the best way to get your body to match the Adonis Golden Ratio? So this way, you can get some more pussy.
Okay, so the first thing you got to do is know where you're starting to know where you're going.
Yeah.
So you got to take your measurements. So the first measurement's at the waist. So it's just a tape measure. You can buy a tape measure wherever, or you can get a thing of myo tape. Maybe we can put that up so they can see what it looks like. So you take your waist measurement at your belly button or navel, whatever you call it, and then you take your shoulder measurement. Now this is all the way around. It's circumference.
So shoulder just on the side of the shoulder.
Yeah. So just stand facing the camera. So at the widest point of the shoulder, which usually lines up with kind of the top of your armpit, and that's going to capture the full bulk of the upper body. And if I turn here, it'll also capture the biggest, thickest part of his back, so like the widest part of his back. So the tape measure will go all the way around there, and then you turn around now, and that's the most important ratio. So knowing where you're starting, we can decide, do you need to gain more muscle? And that will be if your shoulder measurement is severely smaller than it needs to be, we know how much bigger your shoulders need to get. But if your waist measurement is too big, we know that you should primarily focus on fat loss. And then that's how you know like how to choose what your next however many months of workouts are going to be and your diet. You're going to decide what direction you need to go to get to that ratio fastest.
Let's say somebody's shoulders are not very wide, but their waist is not very thin either. What would you say would be the best approach for this one?
That's an in-between where you're doing a bit of a build and burn. So the way you would structure your workouts is to maximize your calorie burn while at the same time building muscle, which that's possible. You don't have to do just get lean and then just build muscle. It's definitely possible to do both. And you don't need to think in terms of, well, I'll do one then the other. Now the fat loss will happen faster. So you have to have a bit of patience with the muscle, but I would just say you would structure your workout to tackle both at the same time.
Step one, measure the waist, measure the shoulders, and on the math part. So I think so we measured this. John measured it for me, and I had a 33 on my waist, and was it like a 50?
You're almost 52 on your shoulders.
On a 52.
So on your height, that's golden, and that's very muscular. Mike's exceptionally muscular. But this is a golden ratio, but it's an even more muscular golden ratio than we would predict on your height.
So we just take 52 divided by 33.
And so for an average guy who maybe doesn't have exceptional muscle mass like you, now I would still try to strive for this degree of muscle mass, but if you can't get there, that's okay, because at your height, a golden ratio that still would look good would be more around a 31-inch waist and a 49-ish inch shoulder. Would still look very impressive. And remember, that doesn't mean 3 inches smaller at the side. That's 3 inches all the way around. So visually, that's just a little bit all the way around. Once you have your measurements down, and you have to decide what to focus on. So you're always doing a mix of fat burning. Most people, at least, are always doing a mix of fat burning and building muscle. Now, if your waist is really like way off, like inches and inches, like 5, 6, 7 inches to go, you'd want to spend more like 60, 70, even 80% of your time really keying in on the fat burning at the beginning, and then ramping up the muscle building. And so that's you have to decide where you're going to focus first. And then as your waist comes down, you reevaluate and start adding in more and more muscle building to your program when your waist is getting leaner. Like we said before, you want to get lean quicker, and you want to get lean first, and then spend the time building the muscle.
Awesome. Okay, so what's step 3? What do you do next?
Step 3, I guess, is really just the reassessment and the refocusing on the workouts. So we like to say take it in 4-week chunks. So you can do your measurements once a week, but for fat loss, you'll see a change. You can see changes pretty quickly, week by week, and especially at the waist. We've seen heavier guys, it's about an inch comes off your waist for every 5 pounds you lose. And now at the end, like when you get really lean, like how Mike is right now, you may still tighten up your abs without actually losing any weight anymore. It sort of disappears at the end. But when you're heavy, that's a pretty good ratio. So as your waist is coming down, every 4 weeks, you could reassess and then make a major shift in your program. So minor shifts on a weekly basis, major shifts on a 4-week basis.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Don't forget those 3 steps. Get your assessment done today. Buy a tape measure or grab a shoelace and just wrap it around you and then measure it with a ruler. Any way you can to find out exactly where you're at so you can start this progress to build your body, to have that Adonis Golden Ratio, because remember, it will make picking up women that much easier and make it so eventually women are gonna find you irresistible. So if you want to learn more about how to build your body, which exercises in particular can go ahead and build the Adonis Golden Ratio body, go to AdonisGoldenRatio.com/Mike and check it out there. Thanks for watching, guys, and see y'all guys next time. Peace.